Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is you're watching this. We're here doing a roof measurements for an estimate, but I noticed some bad flashing on this chimney right here behind me, top side, down the side, and at the bottom. Figured I'd bring you guys along so we can learn from it. If you got a roof project coming up and you need some knowledge, I might be the guy to help share some with you. All I do ask is if you give it a thumbs up. Some of you guys also in the storm restoration business might know and see right away that that is a discontinued shingle. So yes, they could possibly file a claim if you got hail and wind damage, but that's out of scope of this video. We're talking about flashing, so let's get into it. So the roof I looked at yesterday, the video I released yesterday, had some flashing issues. Very similar to this. This is a slight different setup and style, so I figured I'd bring the camera along so we might be able to learn some things from it. As I said, the bottom, the side, and the top, we're going to go over all those. Also, by the way, somebody commented in a past video, I was not a professional because I had tennis shoes on, didn't have boots. I do have boots, so just address that. This is a very granular roof. They come off very easy. It doesn't take much, and you go for a ride. So Cougar Paws, check them out. There's a foam pad on them. They're amazing. They get my thumbs up, seal of approval. So the flashing, I also had somebody comment in the past that I didn't know what I was doing. Imagine that. I get criticized a lot on the channel. But anyway, I think he maybe misunderstood. So we're going to talk about what he was commenting on and why I do what I do. First off, the obvious, why this is bad and why it's rotting out. They've got the counter flashing run down completely under everything. Everything is roofed over on top of this. So when you hear me talk about it's not tucked or needs to be tucked or roof over is not tucked, if this is a roof over, chances are a lot of guys just right up and around it. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. They're happy. You got a problem. Water hits this and it runs down under this and it goes onto the roof deck. That's why this is rotten. Why the homeowners don't necessarily know this is going on is because this is a fly rafter out here. It's got about a 2-foot overhang. Reach the camera out over here. You can see none of that is living space. It's outside brick. You could possibly find some water trail up under there, dirty white residue on the chimney. Chances are the majority of it is running down under the shingles and paper, rotting out the roof, going down the way. If you had a channel of water hitting this, it would do more damage, eventually working its way out. The second issue is the way this is flashed right here, but let me back up. So the guy commented that I was doing it wrong. You need to have your metal on top of a row of shingles. You need it on top of a row of shingles or on top of headlap. Yes, I've seen guys do it many different ways. So they build up, reveal part of a shingle. The headlap is either the part that's right here, or it might actually refer to that little strip that goes under the third row. This little part right here. Either way, I loosely use the term headlap from here to the reveal right here. So you can have this shingle down and your metal dump out on top of it, and then you can put a decorative row, a brad row. You can put cap going across the side here. Either way, I disagree with what he was saying. I don't know if you thought I had it down the roof deck, but either way, you don't want it on the roof deck, you want it on top. Another thing, I had some other people comment, I talk too much. I'm trying to share what I know for those that want to learn. So if you guys don't like me talking about stuff like this so people can learn, go jump on Snapchat or something that's like 30-second videos. So the corner here, this goes up. They probably cut this and folded that part down. Started this counter flashing, which is a solid piece that doubles as counter flashing and flashing. Not good. Even if you had counter flashing, step flashing, this is not good because water running down here is going to go right into this little hole right here and contribute to the problem of rotting wood and issues possibly inside. But due to the fact that this is the inside interior wall here, any water here that way is not going to come in and necessarily do damage in the house. Therefore, they never knew this was going on. What needs to be done once you've shingled up, you got your flashing come down on top of something so it sheds right. You need either a wrapped corner, which is what I call the accordion style. It's a solid piece that'll go around here, or a piece of flashing that extends down. We typically fold it over to make a 45 coming off here. Just want to extend it enough so it gets on top of a shingle and does not cause a hole like that into your attic. You don't want to rely on caulking because clearly you can see the caulking has failed and now missing. The other thing with the flashing, doubling as counter and roof flashing, on an area right here, loose enough I can lift up and show you under here. Maybe this one's easier. Yeah, here we go. So looking up under here, we can look at several things. You see the obvious trail of granules over time that have gathered. You see the nails that are rusting out, the keyways. You got water trail on all this. Water hits this top part, it's going to run laterally. You've heard me talk about dog ear in your cut valleys, your close cut valley. Water hits this, it's going to trickle laterally. If you were to, I'm not saying do it on this chimney flashing style, but if this were a valley, if you dog eared this, water would come and hit that dog ear and run down the path of least resistance, not hitting a block and trickling over. The other thing with the flashing down the roof deck is from the top all the way down, you have the potential of water getting in and running laterally under each one of these, causing problems. So the best thing to do is to use step flashing. So after you do your bottom flashing, getting up, you're ready to start step flashing. From about in this point here, you would put a piece of step flash with the extension, then this shingle, then a piece of step flash right at the buildup, then that shingle, and you just repeat that process all the way. Every shingle has a piece of step, hence the step flash name. Then you would do counter flashing in over that. Different ways of doing it. You can either crack a line vertical or just kind of follow it up the roof slope, or you can do stair steps. So you'd cut into it like this, you'd have a piece raise up, cut into another, and repeat the process. Stair step flashing going up it. Either one works. Personal preference on the look, if you like the look better or not. But straight ones are a little smoother, one piece versus stair step, whichever you want. Going up further with this 3-tab style, you don't want nails down your flashing. If you do that style flashing, keep your nails back and then put a bead of sealer underneath, so it kind of causes a channel of blocking for the water, but just try to avoid this style flashing, period. The backside, again, relying on caulking only. There's no flashing behind here with a kick out or anything, and the water coming around, you got nails and keyways where they're not supposed to be, so that's another thing you don't want. If you plan on counter flashing, you want to make sure the brick is good enough to take the flashing. If you got bad stuff like this, you want to raise your flashing up a notch or two, or just to cover any of the bad dirty tar or bad brick. Make sure it's going to hold up. This appears to be ground and cut. You can see it bend over to 90 and go into the brick if it'll focus. So that's good, but this is a very thin mill finish. It'd be better to use a thicker coil stock. And I know I'm gonna get the few of you that are just gonna pause the video, go down to the chat. Copper, nice. Lead, good. Things that aren't going to oxidize, tarnish, or rust out. Markets kind of dictate that. I'm referring to aluminum flashing. That's mill, it's thinner. Coil stock's thicker, it's gonna work better. But yeah, I mean, obviously if you want to fork out the money, copper or lead are gonna be better. Just be cautious with lead. I did a video a few days ago about how squirrels eat them in the area. All right, with that being said, let's get back into what we might be able to learn here. Yeah, got to wrap up. We're going to focus on this here chimney. By the way, I did have a link to Amazon with these. If you work on roofs whatsoever, you might want to check into Cougar Paws. This is OSHA ringing in on my other side. The other side of me says, now I got to comply with OSHA. Well, I'll recommend use a safety harness. Use safety equipment. I am me, you are you. I'm not telling you what to do. So now that we got that little disclaimer out of the way, Cougar Paws are a good addition to safety equipment. But I'm not going to go nailing in safety equipment to a homeowner that I'm just out giving an estimate on. I just want to get that out of the way too, by the way. So Cougar Paws are good if you can find them. I heard they were taken off Amazon due to the risk. Also, with a chimney, whether you're just quoting it or anything, you want to make sure the chimney itself is good. If it needs tuck pointed, recommend a mason. Make sure the top caps are good. There will be some preventative maintenance you want to make sure of. If you've got a busted up crack, if you're in an area you get freeze cycles, water getting into cracks, it will cause them to get bigger, so you want to make sure you address those. That's about it for the chimney and the flashing. If you don't address this, it's going to continue to go down further. This is an older roof. It has been going on for a while. I'm surprised it's not any worse than this, but that's probably contributing to the way this home is located. This is on the non-dominant side of prevailing winds and storms, so a lot of it is blasting the outer side, the face. It's probably diverting, keeping the majority of the water off of the very edge of the flashing. If the predominant winds hit this side, you'd probably have a lot more coming in and more damage than this. So I contribute that to the dimension or the way this actual chimney is laid out in relation to the storms coming from that way. We're going long, wrap up. If you liked the video, if you could, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. If there's any affiliate links down below for Amazon, check them out. I usually put stuff down there, make it easy for you to find, because you can't always find it at your local box stores. Best being the telescoping ladder, the ladder standoffs, amazing. Helps add to the safety too. And don't forget to get your 2 free stocks with Weevil down below. Also crypto. Talk to you next time. Till then, be safe. See you then.